Hi, everyone. My name's Carmen Cole. I am the social media editor for Portal Libraries in the Academy. Also joining is my fellow social media editor, Katie O'Hara Krebs. I am pleased to welcome Annette Bochenek, Assistant Professor and Business Information Specialist, Heather Howard, Associate Professor and Director of Undergraduate Education, and Zoeanna Mayhook, Assistant Professor and Business Information Specialist. All three authors are with the Purdue University Libraries and School of Information Studies. Today, they will be speaking to us about their article entitled Integrating Intercultural Competencies in an Introductory Business Information Literacy Course. This article can be found on Portal's preprint site in volume 25, issue 1. The article is free to read, and viewers may access the article by navigating to the Johns Hopkins Press preprint site for Portal. All right, so first question. What inspired you all to delve into this research topic?
Thanks, Carmen. I'll go ahead and start. Intercultural learning has always been really important to me. So in 2020, I applied for and received an intercultural pedagogy grant from Purdue's Center for Intercultural Learning, Mentorship, Assessment, and Research, which we call SILMAR, because that's kind of a mouthful. This was a semester-long program I was able to go through in which we created appropriate intercultural learning objectives. We explored different rubrics. We experimented with intercultural learning activities, different test assessment tools, and we created an intercultural learning action plan. We also created a pilot program to collect intercultural program assessment data, which served as the model for the study that we then integrated into our class. So after the program, I reached out to Zoe and Annette. We had been co-teaching Management 110 together for several years, the course in which we ended up integrating this. The two of them are also very interested in intercultural pedagogies, and they were excited to integrate them into the course. We'd actually already been working over several years to integrate more content on international business, so this was really a natural fit in that course.
Thanks, Heather. So please give a summary of your article published in the latest issue of Portal.
Yeah, continuing on. So thank you so much. And as Heather previewed for us, we do have this Management 110 class where it's mostly an introduction to management and information strategies. So that's ultimately the course where we were able to integrate these different intercultural competencies directly in that information literacy setting, albeit for the undergraduate business classroom. And our goal was namely to try and improve intercultural skills and competencies within our students. And specifically, we turned to the AACU's value rubric and looked potentially at what types of interventions we could implement in the classroom and how to measure and assess for growth in that capacity. So the students ultimately, they were assessed through different online surveys that were tied directly to that value rubric, specifically comparing different pre and retrospective, as well as post assessments upon their really surrounding their growth in terms of intercultural competence. And we did find that ultimately through evaluating these surveys and analyzing them, that their intercultural competencies did change as a result of engaging with the course material. And so our paper more so delves into the different classroom interventions that we implemented, the results from that survey data, as well as the greater implications for library instruction. And in particular, as far as the interventions go, there's a really nice broad array of them that can be applied in other classrooms too with that information literacy focus. But just to preview a few, we used activities like revealing questions and the name game, the circle of trust, and identifying universal cultural and personal norms, among several other interventions that the readers can enjoy and consider utilizing in their approach to teaching on the subject of intercultural competence.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Katie and I are business librarians, of course, but, going outside of our discipline, so that's applicable for other disciplines as well is, of course, very useful. Thanks, Annette. What big takeaway from your article do you all have for portal readers?
Yeah, well, I'll just preface this by saying that at its core, culture plays a foundational role in how information is created, interpreted, shared, and valued. So there's a large information literacy component to that. And then it also influences how information is accessed and may also introduce different forms of bias as well, depending on the context. So within a business setting in particular, which is what we focused on, a lot of knowledge is exchanged informally through interpersonal interactions. But in diverse groups, students sometimes may struggle with the skills needed to build the trust and communicate effectively with their peers. And so for this study, we wanted to, explore how librarians can integrate intercultural competencies into their teaching to help promote that knowledge sharing a bit more. And we also think that that can also be translated into library working environments as well. So we focus specifically on it as a pedagogical approach, but there's more applications to it than that. And we found that the short activities that we introduced were meaningful to students, and they did have a positive impact on different areas of that construct. And as Annette mentioned, the Intercultural Learning Hub is just such a fantastic resource for that. So we chose a handful of activities that we used, but there are so many on there. They're free. There's different exercises, discussion prompts. And so for a librarian who is interested in dabbling in this a bit more, I would encourage them to check out that resource and think about ways that they can adapt those activities into their one-shots, into workshops, programming, or full information literacy courses. And then ultimately, we hope that this article sparks librarians' own cultural curiosity and encourages them to experiment with different teaching strategies that help foster more inclusive and effective learning environments.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you again for speaking to us today about your article, Annette, Heather, and Zoe. Again, viewers may read the article for free via the Johns Hopkins Press preprint site for Portal. Thank you for watching today, and keep an eye out for our next author interview.